We have another episode of Ask the Black Dad. We'd like to thank all those subscribers who are coming aboard, realizing that this channel is on fire and only getting hotter. Last episode, I talked to my sons, and my daughters had a problem with that. And they were like, what about us? What about us? You got two other kids. I'm like, I ain't seen no DNA test. But that being said, we're gonna have a conversation with my daughters, and we're gonna take it differently. We're not gonna talk about current events. I'm gonna ask them to look into themselves and maybe look into the future if they could. And so with that being said, before we get started, we're gonna have them introduce themselves. I'm gonna start with my oldest daughter, the mouth. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is The Mouth, aka Imani Harris, and I'm 25 years old.
Hi, I'm Jada, and I'm 24 years old.
She's also known as Meg of the family. If you watch Family Guy, she's known as. I want to talk about something that I'm seeing a lot of. Now, I know for a fact, like, I went to the Marine Corps after my high school debacle. So I went to the Marine Corps and served. Now, everybody can't go to the service. It's service mentality and service life isn't for everybody. Just like everybody can't go to college because where they retain knowledge, or maybe they're just tired of going to school. So with that being said, you see a lot of things happening right now where people are saying, we don't need college. We trying to get rid of college. When I think it's college, to me, college is a blessing. And a lot of kids are unable to go to college, not because they're not smart enough, but because they don't have the financial system behind them. Because sometimes when you go to college, you may not have all your, tuition covered, and you may need loans. And most banks aren't going to give a kid just straight out of high school that kind of loan. So you need co-signers. And if you don't have that structure behind you, someone who can co-sign with good credit and all that, those kind of things, it doesn't work. But when I see people trying to downplay college, and we know with this pandemic, that almost 40-something% of the people 40 to 50% of the people who stayed and was able to work at home had college degrees. And those who didn't were usually the ones who we said the frontline workers, that had to go to work every day, catch transportation. So speaking on that, your experience as far as college, what do you think, Mike, we're gonna start with you, the importance of college or a higher learning?
I don't know, at least for me, when I went to college, I felt that it was a way for me to find myself. I feel like I grew up during my time at Miami, because you come into Miami or you come into any college, you're 18, right out of high school, pretty immature. All you want to do is party, that kind of thing. At least that's what I wanted to do. And then I think by the time that I graduated, being 22, I kind of had an idea of who I was and what I wanted to do. I don't think everyone comes out of college with that experience, but for me, that was the number one thing that I took out of it, besides my degree, which of course is going to be a huge benefit in my life, but like just getting to know myself and what I stood for and that kind of thing.
I used college as more of like a focus on what I wanted to do. I totally agree with Monty when it comes to shaping myself. But I felt like I started from zero because like from high school, like I was just so inexperienced and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to try out theater because that was something that really resonated with me in high school. And I think going to college, it really did help shape me as an artist, because I came in with the notion like the only thing you can do in theater is acting. Like acting is just, that's all I knew. And it was there that I learned that there were so many different career choices and career paths that I could take with it. And I felt like I improved not only as an actor, but I also got some experience working as a director, working as a screenwriter, so I felt like I was equipped with like more skills. And I mean, like Monty was saying, like some people come out of college and they don't know what they want to do. They still don't. And that's okay. Cause like it takes so long to find yourself. So
college laid the foundation.
Yeah. College it's merely the stepping stones. And then, life will direct everything else.
I believe that if you're not college material, because like I said, a lot of kids, some kids aren't. I was not college material. I wasn't. You threw me in college, I'd have went in the front door and they'd have been throwing me out the side window because they'd been like, you got to go. So I knew that, you know what I'm saying? and everybody can't join the military. I know that. But we got to find a way that those kids that can go to college, when I say can go, they have the mental capacity, and they want to learn, and they want to make their lives evolve. We have to find a way to help them get to college. Like I said, because a lot of people, there's a lot of kids that are sitting at home, and their life, they should have went to college, but because of the structure in which they lived in, they couldn't, whether financially or whatever, they couldn't get it. And that's a shame. We got to fix that. Now, going to college, Jada, you tell a story. You always tell a story about how when Monty came home with straight A's, and Monty, what was that, 5th grade? 6th grade?
It was like the 5th or 6th grade.
Monty came home with straight A's, and I said, "Ooh, that's at our house. That was it. That's it. Straight A's." Then I don't think Monty's skirt was a straight A, but she never got him again. Jada, Jada from the 5th grade on, all the way through college, straight A's. We had a carrot and stick approach. We always had that. It was like, I don't believe in paying my kids no allowance. I'm gonna pay you allowance to live in my house. That ain't happening. You gonna clean the bathroom because you use them. You gonna know what I'm saying? You gonna clean dishes because you didn't buy the food. But we know in school, I used to always say, if you do this, we're gonna do this for you. And if you do this, and we don't, and on the bad end, we got a stick for you. It's kind of funny. I got you two. He's sitting here. My only 2 daughters that mama know of. No, only 2 daughters. and mine. It was funny to me that even though you were offered the carrot, you kind of always leaned back to, you got to bring out the stick because I'm gonna do Monty. Monty being, that's what we came up with. Monty being Monty. In fact, what is if you don't mind sharing with the viewers, what is your name on our phone when you call? What is it?
Girls Gone Wild.
So, Girls Gone Wild. And Jada, you on the other hand, you went and it was like, okay, if I keep getting these good grades, I want an Xbox, and I want all the accounts to the platforms, that Netflix and all this kind of stuff. So explain, if you can. Again, this is taking you. You're only 20-something years old. I want you, if you think about it, say, why did the stick have to be on your end? And how did the carrot work on your end? So Monty, we'll go with you again. How come it seemed like, I mean, you had the option to go for the carrot, but you was like, no, you got to catch me. So, can you fill us in? Me as a father, I want to know. So as I pass down, see grandchildren one day,
I mean, for me, it's always been about fun. I just want to have fun. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to go to parties. And I've always been that way, Like, I always wanted to have good enough grades to get to where I wanted to go. But I wanted to have fun more than I wanted that. And I don't think that changed until like my junior year of college. So.
Yeah, I saw a good thing, during your college, and I believe you share the truth. There's other people who've been through the truth. All of a sudden, the partying kind of like crept up really fast on you when you was going into your senior year of college. You're like, oh hell! And then all of a sudden, I saw like a light just come on. I mean, we were always like, whatever, money. You know what I'm saying? You ain't living with us. You down in college. But a light came on. You got your 2 degrees, not just 1, 2. You graduate with honors. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, she did? How did? So it's like you waited. You like that person who waits till the last second to do the test. To me, that's what it sounded like.
Living on the edge, part of the fun.
I was scared. I thought I was never gonna get down to Miami and see you graduate the way you roll. Go ahead, Jada.
Well, I was just wondering. I was just like, so what changed junior year for you? Like, what set you on that different path?
I started thinking about the money part of it. I'm like, okay, if I want to make money, what do I need to do to get there? Because I think in my junior year, more than fun, I wanted money. And I'm like, okay, I need to get a good job because I know that I like to shop. I like nice shoes. I like nice purses. I like nice alcohol. So what do I need to do? What do I need to do to get there? So that's when like the, what's it called? When the train starts going faster, that's what started happening in my mind. I'm like, okay, college is almost over. And I don't want to say I started panicking, but I was thinking about it more. Especially when I met Brady. Again, that happened my junior year too. When I met Brady, those are the kind of things we would talk about. He was asking me, okay, what do you want to do? Like, I know I was talking about getting a car. How am I going to get a car?
Boyfriend, so people would know that,
Yes, we've been dating for 5 years. We've been dating since my junior year of college, and just having those conversations with him, I'm again, those just added to the fuel in my train engine, you know. I mean, things start to sound different when they come from someone other than your parents. You know, everything always sounds different. And so hearing it from my boyfriend, I'm like, you're right. Let me think about this a little more. So instead of going out with my friends for the night, I'll be on Google or YouTube looking at different career paths. I mean, during the course of college, I changed my major 3 different times. Like I came in as a bio pre-med major, and then by the end, because I was thinking about the career path that I wanted to choose, I'm like, okay, what do I actually enjoy? You know, like what am I good at? I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at communications. I'm good at writing. Writing wasn't my favorite thing in the world, but I know I'm good at it. So that's why I was finally able to settle down on that one major and just like go all in.
Jada, now you on the other end, like I say, you was the carrot all the time. You like, okay, whatever, let's make a deal.
I mean, you can think of it as the carrot and stick scenario. I think what it actually boils down to is I am, and I don't even know if this is like the correct word to use, but this is like the word I've been using for a while. I can be a bit jealous. I can be jealous at times. And I think the thing that happened when I was in 5th grade is I was like an okay student at the time. Like I felt like I was getting like a lot of B's, like maybe a few A's here and there. And I just remember Monty coming home with her report card, and it was just like there was so much praise happening. It like you were like, oh, she's like the sun and blah blah blah. Like you were just going off, like you literally said like she is the sun, and then you're like, oh, JD, like your grades are okay too. It's just like she's the sun and like you're the stars. So from that moment, like you placed me in a position that I didn't feel comfortable being in, and that scenario, even though I don't feel like you meant to do it, but it was like she's better than you. That's supposed kind of what I got. And I was like, I don't want her to be better than me. I don't want that at all. So it's like I kept pushing for those grades, and I became more studious. Like I studied a lot more. I gained the ability to memorize a lot of stuff easily, which honestly did help when it came to theater. So it's like I did have that. And as soon as I started to get my footing when it came to like academics, that's when we started like leveraging, you know, some nice good stuff, you know. Like one of my like most I guess like fondest memories would be when you were like, Jada, if you can get straight A, I think it was like for the whole school year. I think it was like 7th or 8th grade. When you like, if you get straight A's all year, I will get you an Xbox. And I remember mom being like, you can't get that girl an Xbox. Like, why are you gonna get this girl an Xbox? That's a lot of money. And you know what? I stuck with it. And I was like, pay me what you owe me at the end of the year. And I remember we went to Toys R Us and I went to go get me an Xbox, and I was happy with it. So it's like, I mean, yeah, it's nice having those like gaining those like, I guess like rewards for doing a good grade. But I think at the end of it all, like the goal was to make everyone proud. Like I loved seeing you praise Amani, and I wanted to feel that praise. I wanted you to feel as proud of me as you were of her. So it's like the things that I do in life when it comes to academics, when it comes to career, like, or like financial decisions, honestly, like I always think in the back of my mind, I'm like, is this something that makes me happy? And then is this also something that will make my parents proud? So, I mean, that's I think that's the reason why I kept doing what I did, because I was like, at the end of the day, like if I can make everybody happy, you know, it's a win-win for everybody. So.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you said that, but remember this, I'm proud of all y'all, all 5 of y'all. It's 5 of y'all, right? It's 5 of y'all. So I'm proud of all 5 of y'all, the 3 boys and y'all 2. So I just want y'all to know that. And I'm sorry, Meg, that you felt, that's why maybe you was mad, because you had those feelings sometimes. Yeah. But no, but I think that the importance of, like I spoke on it when I said in the episode of My Heroes, the importance of education didn't hit me until after I realized I had botched my opportunity with education. I had to come back around, and it was something to me to watch all my kids, the twins, the two youngest sons, my twins, they're juniors now. So as I watch each one of y'all finish school, None of y'all went to the service. I don't know why.
Mhm.
But y'all, as y'all finish college, as y'all round the thing, Mike got his master's and everything. And I'm watching, I'm like, wow, what I saw was so important to me was able to be instilled in my children that they took it and ran with it. I thought Marine Corps was important, but y'all didn't. So
I didn't want anyone yelling in my face.
Yeah.
I don't do good. I don't do well with that.
Here's another topic. People can reflect on things like this when someone's gone, or so everybody's here, our circle's still intact. But it was something I started because I saw, hormones were getting out of whack. As girls start growing, they become a little wild and crazy, and daddy don't know nothing. He's the dumbest person in the world. But I need to find a way to make sure I was still talking to y'all was still talking to me, even if it was talking like, so I started daddy-daughter time. And I used to say, when I was frying chicken, or most time it was always it was in the kitchen. Usually it was time when I'm frying up something, potato, French fries, or whatever. And I started daddy-daughter time, and y'all used to fight and hate coming down daddy-daughter time, but I used to take that time and talk with y'all and see where your head was at, see where, see what you're doing, maybe drop a couple of gems of knowledge, saying that y'all didn't even think was gems of knowledge, maybe you don't. So Dad, we're gonna start with you first. Tell me, how do you look at daddy-daughter time now? When daddy-daughter time started, you were probably preteen or teen.
Like summer.
So it just and it just went on to sometimes y'all come home from college, daddy-daughter time, let's go, and you knew you had to go sit down, and sometimes begrudgingly. So tell me, what do you think about daddy-daughter time now that you can sit in and look at it and you're away from it, because there's no more forced daddy-daughter time?
That's not true. There is. So, I mean, daddy-daughter time has evolved since it started. I feel like we've been doing daddy-daughter time for maybe like past a decade.
Yeah, definitely 10 years at least.
It's been like at least 10 years. And yeah, I mean, in that, let's say if I was 14 years old and started, I really didn't appreciate daddy-daughter time, because daddy-daughter time to me was just daddy singing in my ear, daddy-daughter time, like, and it was just like him in my mind, 14-year-old Jada's mind, just trying to be as annoying as possible. And it's like, and I was just like, I didn't understand like why I had to sit down in the kitchen and watch you make chicken. Sometimes you would ask me to do stuff, and I still can't tell you to this day how to fry chicken. Like, it's just, I don't retain that information. That's all mine. I'm not going to be a cook. I already know that. But I think what I took from it is just like, honestly, your stories. It just helps me. It might have helped you learn a little bit more about your daughters, but I think it helped me learn a little bit more about you. As in, you're very repetitive. Like, you repeat your stories over and over again. But like, I mean, they're entertaining. They're like a inside look of your life before before you settled down and you got married and had kids and all that. So I mean, now as a 24-year-old, daddy-daughter time is necessary, but sometimes it falls in it's not as convenient anymore, because like we have to work around each other's schedules. But I mean, like, it honestly is a nice moment just sitting down there and talking to you.
At the time, I absolutely hated it. There's nothing worse in the world than daddy-daughter time. And it did start 10 years ago, probably like 10 years ago. Like, that is the number. Because I remember when I was 15, going to sophomore year homecoming. And that was the day, it was September 15th, that you guys found out that I was texting boys on my phone, and I had them under girls' names. And I wasn't able to go to homecoming that day. And I remember I had this blue A-line dress, and it had like the white polka dots on it. And that's when daddy-daughter time started. And I think I hated it so much because most of the time I was in trouble, whether it was boys or just like not studying or homework, but no matter like what it was, like 80% of the time I was in trouble. And most of the time it was about boys. And as daddy likes to bring up all the time, I didn't think that he understood what I was going through, what I was thinking. Daddy, what's the line? Is
You ain't seen, like, you can't, Daddy, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what life is, or something like that. And
You weren't
like,
seeing it through a 15-year-old's eyes.
15-year-old eyes. I like,
Yeah.
what? I said, I
Yeah.
ain't seen no life because I ain't seen through 15-year-old eyes, huh? So,
Yeah. I mean, during that time, I kind of like shut down. It's like I heard you, but I definitely wasn't listening to you. Like, definitely was not, because I knew that it's not even that you were yelling. It was just that you were like lecturing. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Even now, still not my favorite thing, but I know, like, looking back on it, those are things that I do appreciate, whether I was listening or not, just us being able to be together. And I did learn how to cook a lot of things that I still cook today. Sometimes not the best, but like I still use those moments. They were learning lessons for me one way or another. When I come home, I wouldn't say there's something I look forward to, but I definitely don't mind sitting at the kitchen table and listening to your stories or helping you make chicken or whatever it is, In those moments, I wasn't in trouble when we had daddy-daughter time. It was good. Like you let me like have some buttered noodles. You let me taste things along the way. We'd laugh, we'd make jokes. It was just that most of the time it wasn't like that. It was, Imani, here are your learning lessons. This is what you're doing. This is what I need you not to do, because this is the path you're going down. And as a 15-year-old, I'm like, you don't know me. You don't know what I'm going through, so I'm not listening. But like looking back on it, I feel like a lot of the things you said, most of them are right. Most of them are right, but I didn't see that they were right until later, until I was older.
well, like I said, when you guys are fortunate enough and you get settled enough and you have kids, you have to find some kind of way to talk to them. Like with the boys, I sit down there and we play Xbox or whatever. I could do that. And plus, remember, I was coaching them in leagues and stuff, so I always had time to we go on the car and talk constantly. But I had to keep in touch with you guys because I noticed that girls, start getting that age, Daddy don't know nothing, he don't. That's cool. That's cool, Daddy don't. But Daddy's smart enough to know that I have to keep y'all talking. Something that your mom would always tell me, keep them talking, no matter what. Because see, sometimes even when you guys were sitting there, you still said things. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You would say things, and I knew at least a little bit of what you were thinking of, and I could share it with stories or something to try to say, okay, now let's be careful, let's watch this. I think the best thing I ever told you guys was, if you have a love interest, don't look at him now. Look at him and picture him 5 years from now. And you know what I'm saying? What's he going to be 5 years from now? I don't care what he's doing now. You got to project him 5 years from now. I think that was a good thing, daddy-daughter time. All right, the last thing we're going to talk before we let you guys go. Relationships. How important is it for you guys to see the interaction between your mother and I? Even when we disagree, it's an argument started. You know how mama tell, oh, shut up, fat man. And that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, you shut up. But even the arguments. When I grew up, I saw domestic violence. And you guys, I'll talk to you honestly about it. To have the relationship you see between the mother and the father when it comes to just the bills and the arguments, the kids, food, and everything. How important has that role, what you see? Again, we're still here, so it's kind of hard to really put a fine line on it. Until something's taken away, then you can really see it more in focus. But talk about the relationship that you were able to witness between your mother and I, and how do you think that played out in you? You know what I'm saying? And certain relationships, maybe you may have saw with somebody else.
I don't think I realized how much your and Mama's relationship shaped me until I started dating Brady. And that was one of the things that Brady mentioned to me right away. Like, we've had conversations about this. You and Mama, you were always so loving. Like, even now, like, you guys have been married for, next month it will be 26 years.
For too long?
And same thing. Same thing. But you guys have been married for 26 years, It's like, and that reflects on your children, whether intentionally or not. Like, we see what a long-lasting relationship looks like. We see what it takes. We see what the arguments look like, And yes, they do occur, but you and Mama always get down and you, like, whether it's 12 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you guys work that out, like it, and the love is always there. Like you guys, you laugh and you joke, and it's like just amazing seeing you guys together. Like I love coming home and seeing you and Mama together because you guys are just. I mean, I see me, you know. I see me like this is who I am. This is my future, and I love bringing Brady around so he can see like this is what you have to look forward to. You know, like your and Mama's relationship is so amazing, and it amazes so many people. Whether it's like your guys' Facebook posts or the videos that you send us in the kids group chat or Mama's Snapchats with filters on you, like it's an amazing thing to see. It's an amazing display of love, and it shaped who I am. Didn't know that it did, but I'm glad it did. You know, I'm glad I was able to have such amazing examples and role models of what love looks like, what a healthy relationship looks like. It definitely has shaped every single relationship I've been in. You know, like there's been relationships, not official ones maybe, but like where they didn't work out. And it's because I didn't see you guys. When I looked at our future with that guy, I didn't see your relationship in my future. So it's like on to the next one, you know?
I really can't talk much about this on the idea of relationships, just because that's such a unfamiliar territory for me. But I will say your relationship with Mama has definitely shaped how I feel about love. Because when I was younger, I mean, what you saw in movies a lot is just that I hate romantic movies. I hate romantic comedies because I feel like they're not realistic expectations for relationships, because like this whole like just meeting somebody and falling in love and it's just it's very blinding, I feel like. And I've seen that with a lot of my friends. I see that they're so infatuated with romantic comedies, and they end up like jumping headfirst into these relationships without thinking, and then ending up getting hurt, you know, physically, emotionally, like it sucks to see that. And I think that seeing them and how they maneuver around through and around relationships, I think that kind of made me a little bit timid and fearful of getting into relationships. But it's like seeing you and Mama, I see a realistic version of love. I see love and in all its highs and all its lows. Being in this and being in a two-parent household, and two-parent married household, and seeing the you know, sometimes the arguments and things like that, it shows me that there are going to be things that there are going to be a lot of like test in the relationships, I guess, like if that makes sense, like trials and things like that, and things that you have to you have to decide whether you want to overcome these struggles or issues, you know. And I feel like 26 years is a long time. I mean, just the fact that you were able to make it work, and you guys are, and I see how much you guys are still in love with each other. The fact that, like, for example, we were outside yesterday, and we were out on the patio, you know, and I decided to go inside because I was tired, you know, it was late. But like hearing you guys talk to each other, you know, like it was nice. It was just very comforting, and like even at times where I sort of like, you know, because like, you know, sometimes when you're single, like you think to yourself, you're like, oh, would I ever find that person? And it's like seeing you guys and how you guys react around and talk to each other, it makes me really feel like hopeful, you know. Like I really do feel like there's going to be somebody out there, and I feel like I can take all the experiences that I've witnessed with you two, and I guess help incorporate that into my relationship with somebody else. So
and that's the thing, you guys are still so in love with each other.
Yeah.
You know, like
if she gives me that new Xbox, I'll be in.
take us to a new level. But I remember when me and Brady first started dating, he used to joke around and it's like, oh, well, it won't always be like this. Like the honeymoon phase won't always like last this long. I'm like, well, look at my parents. I mean, yeah, they've had arguments, they go through some rough patches, but like look how in love they are, you know. And like even now he'll like joke like, hey, you know, we won't be in love like this forever. And it's funny because he's saying that every year. He said, give it another 2 years. Give it another 2 years. I'm like, nah, baby, that's not happening. I don't think you know who you're dating.
I think relationships are very important. I think that, and what the reason I shared my growing up and the relationship I witnessed, it was a turning point that you have to, you take what you see and you say, is this good or is this bad? And you got to say, I'm not doing the bad stuff. I'll take some good stuff. And if it's not good, you got to find something. And I always tell everybody, I don't like what Bill Cosby did, but you give me Cliff Huxtable, ooh, the way he treated Claire, that's what I had to go to. And I had to learn this. I had to learn, 26 years of loving your mother started with me watching the abuse happen in my house, watching as I was dating in Marine Corps high school and all that kind of stuff, watching that and it falling down, hitting my face, bumping my head, and saying, okay, but that doesn't work. Being able to find somebody you can share something with, and you have to be honest. And the one thing I tell people when it comes to a relationship, if you're not honest, if you come into a relationship and there's no honesty, you might as well just pack it up, because you have to be honest. Because you got to be willing, if you want to last, you got to be willing to be vulnerable. You got to be willing, because you have to let somebody know, you can touch me, and I'm willing to touch you, and we have to be able to come together. But if you got to, nope, I ain't trusting nobody, you can't bring that back. So again, this episode has been brought to you because my two daughters complained. My sons were on the last episode, and they
Felt left out.
What about us? So I brought them on. You got to see them, Imani and Jada. Good kids. They all right. They all right.
I'm pretty great.
They'll do for now. I want to thank you guys for coming out. Please remember to subscribe, comment, hit that notification, and follow us on all social media platforms. And remember, until I see you guys in 2 weeks, I love you.
Bye.